Hi guys, so the pro-Tory, pro-Brexit, pro-Boris newspaper The Express had this headline on Sunday evening. Brussels surrenders. EU says it will accept British shellfish after Brexit revenge. Of course, this is the type of hyperbolic rhetoric you would expect from The Express. Brexit has been going so well, they pump out stories on a daily basis about how the EU is about to collapse at any moment or how they are punishing the UK for having the guts to leave. The article goes on to say that Brussels sparked fury when it blocked shellfish caught in Class B waters post-Brexit. Now the problem with this statement is that it's absolutely false. The EU did not block shellfish caught in Class B waters. This has been the case since 2008, but it applies to third countries, which is now the case for the UK. It goes on to say that the British government was privately furious with one minister accusing the EU of trying to punish the UK for Brexit. This is typical victimhood by pro-Brexit press and commentators. Anything the EU does, even if it is before Brexit, is somehow an attempt to punish the UK because they decided to leave the bloc. This is basically feeding the pro-Brexit reading public the main course following years of starters. The idea that the EU hates the UK. The public already have been primed to believe that the EU wanted to block the UK from ever leaving, and everything since departure is a spiteful gesture. The article goes on to say that shellfish are not allowed from waters off Cornwall, Devon, Essex, Kent and Northumberland, but they were updated to Class A status. In the article they use the word updated, not upgraded. The article is being a bit sly here with the use of language. It's telling the public that the paperwork has changed, not the waters. Following this it says oysters, mussels, clams and cockles from those areas can now be sold in the EU. This is false. Whether something can be sold in the EU is down to the EU, not the British Food Standards Agency, that is said to have made this change. The article then claims that EU commissioners for health and food safety refused to meet with Environment Secretary George Eustace. We have no evidence of this. An unnamed government source is then quoted as saying, "They effectively changed the law to justify their position in blocking trade, despite clear indications that the export of Class B waters for purification could continue after the transition period." Now, this is the same language used by George Eustace a few weeks ago. The UK government have made a claim that the EU said they could continue to export shellfish from Class B waters, but the problem with this is that the UK government haven't actually provided any evidence of this communication with the EU. Isn't it strange that a government minister and an entire department can't find one single email to back up this claim? The article then goes on to reinforce the idea that the EU brought in this ban this year, which is false, and that the fishing industry is suffering and angry over this restriction. There are two problems with this quote-unquote news. First, I can't find anything on the Food Standards Agency website on this actual story. Now, since the recording of this video, perhaps the website has posted something, but I can find nothing. So where is the Express getting its information from? Second, just because you declare that the waters that shellfish are caught in are no longer Class B but Class A, it doesn't actually get round the problem of the restriction. Does the Express think that the EU would just say, okay, the UK waters that contained these shellfish were not considered ready for human consumption, but now they are, due to a paperwork change? Does anyone with a functioning brain not think a health authority carries out checks on such imports, especially if some change has taken place? I'm not saying that it's impossible for Class B waters to become Class A, but just trusting a third country's agency when they said so is not how things work. This story in The Express is sold as Brexiteers getting one over on the idiotic EU. But the story doesn't make a lot of sense from a logical point of view. I'm not an expert on any of the issues raised here, but a simple look at what's happening from an objective point of view tells me something is up. Finally, If this story had been true, surely Boris Johnson and his government would be making hay out of it, as it would have been something Brexiteers could point to as some sort of victory. Instead, it's been picked up by pro-Brexit media outlets like The Express and pro-Brexit YouTube channels. No government agency is actually talking about this. Until we see a government source provide evidence to back this up, I would put this down to either Brexiteer lies or another failed attempt to salvage something from the disaster of Brexit. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?